trace of guacamole in his burrito, despite having specifically requested it when ordering.
No, there definitely wasn't any guac there. Cheese, beans, chorizo. Oh man, I hope they didn't forget.
Hawks has continued to maintain hope that there may still be an undiscovered sliver of avocado somewhere in his tortilla. However, with his fears for the meal mounting, Hawks has reportedly considered asking the cashier for a refund at various points while eating the burrito.
The thing is, if you had a burrito and it was missing cheese, you might not notice it because there's sour cream, but guacamole is completely different. I just don't know how I wouldn't have tasted it by now. Christ, I'm almost done with this thing.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Computers are online. I'm gonna start loading software.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Call to Freedom.
Broadcasting live from VertCoin Studios on LRN FM.
You're listening to Will.
You will listen to every damn word I have to say!
And Aria.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Stay tuned for political talk and everything crypto. That's right.
Broadcasting internationally on our BitPlus Network satellite.
This is
The Call to Freedom.
All right, let's boot it up.
All right. Hey, welcome here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio here in, well, snowy Keene, New Hampshire. Got about a foot of snow on the ground outside right now, or maybe not here, but at least at my house there is. This is your normal host, Will Coley, here with you tonight. Back from a night of not feeling quite so well for a few days. A little better today. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. Uvula, the dangly thing in the back of your throat.
That's what I call it.
Yeah, that thing swelled up about the size of your thumb, and I would breathe out, and it would come out, and it would sit on the back of my tongue, and it was awful. And the swelling's gone down enough now that I don't, as my wife put it, sound like Glomer. And anybody that understands that reference will immediately know how old that I am.
Nice. I don't understand it.
Because I don't understand it either.
Awesome. As you can hear, we are joined tonight by, what's been our crew for the last couple Thursdays. We've got Chelsea from the Vora Institute. And we've also got Aria Demezio with us from cryptocurrencycheck.org. And I'm not sure, is Tom in the room with us tonight too?
No, he's not.
He is not. So he is not here. So, all right then. Tom's not here. All right then. Well, we've got a story that came to us just a little while ago from Chelsea about what happened? State-funded bridge collapsed the day it was opened?
Yeah, it is the government's work at its best, right?
All right. Well, you want to go ahead and take the lead on that?
Sure. So, this is Florida. It is near their university. And they have, so it was a 950-ton span in place in a project that was intended to give Florida International University students a safe route across the busy roadway. and safe route turned into not so safe a route, right? So the bridge, I guess, just gave way. It looks like some cars were trapped underneath it, and then some people on the bridge were, I guess hurt, but not too many people. No, I don't think anybody died, which is good.
Well, I thought the article that I saw said that there were deaths.
Well, let me see. Did it say how many?
No. I mean, they're still trying to lift up the bridge from what I saw and get it off of people.
Yeah, this one seems to just be recounting like the history of the bridge and its like creation and the fact that, it was like had all this effort had gone into it and it basically like just opens and then collapses.
There's at least one dead.
Okay.
Confirmed by CNN.
Right, so this is also a breaking story, right? But I think it's just a very, it's tragic, but also, a very sort of profound instance of just government at its best. I think it said $14 million bridge project, right? And it collapses right away. So what could the free market do with that money, right? And what could they have done better?
Well, wasn't it supposed to open in 2019? And it instead opened a year early?
Yeah, it was supposed to open early next year. So, but I don't think it states why they pushed it forwards.
It was clearly not a good decision.
It says the university's engineering school has an accelerated bridge program that works on techniques to speed up bridge construction. So maybe they might want to rethink their program on that one.
Yeah, those techniques might need a little bit more work.
Yeah, no kidding.
The story that I'm looking at here from ABC News actually says multiple people have been killed. There are victims searching for people in the rubble, loading others onto stretchers, 5 to 6 vehicles crushed in the collapse. So the people that were in those vehicles are most likely dead.
Sure.
If you were in the back seat, like there's a picture here of like a Corolla and the back half of the car is crushed. So if there was if there were children in the back seat of that car, that's the end of them. It says, let's see here. The street that the bridge stretches over, 8th Street, is a busy 7-lane road. It runs from downtown Miami all the way to the Everglades. Students and faculty had been calling for a bridge at the crossing of 8th Street and 109th Street where pedestrians are required to cross through heavy traffic. Let's see here. Section of 8th Street was closed over the weekend to allow workers to position the 174-foot bridge. First of its kind pedestrian bridge at FIU. We got pictures of them putting it together. They touted the bridge to be the first of its kind, tweeting that it swung into place on Saturday. In a statement, the university said it was shocked and saddened about the tragic events. At this time, we're still involved in rescue efforts. And basically, yeah, the whole thing just flat. Anybody that was walking on the bridge is dead. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe if they were on the one side, it only kind of collapsed like the half of it. The other half just got slanted. But yeah.
Let's see here.
One of the other things that it says is that, and so it seems like the push and the speed of the project may have been sort of put forth by some governing bodies because it says students and faculty have long been clamoring for a bridge at that crossing because, or in part because, in August, FIU undergraduate Alexis Dale was hit and killed by a motorist while crossing that intersection. So it's just one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, somebody died and now there's like a safety issue. And so we immediately have to, make all these changes, but we don't need to think about the changes. We'll just throw something into place so that it looks like we're doing something. And then it ends up in this kind of tragedy,
Well, they spared no expense. It says here the total cost is $14.2 million. $11.4 million of that coming from a grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation. Rick Scott tweeted that he's aware of the collapse and he would be in constant communication with law enforcement. He came to Miami this evening to be briefed, actively monitoring tragic situation, blah, 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 thoughts and prayers, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's the same politician thing that they always say, you know, oh, well, you know, these people, you know, some of them may have voted for me, so we'll act like we actually care about them a little bit. Anyway, you want to weigh in on this? If not, we're probably going to move on to, well, have you ever heard of gold? Gold raining from the skies. Well, it just might happen to you. Stick around and you'll hear about it next when we get back here on The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom.
Live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Welcome here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Live Thursday night broadcast here, live from the VertCoin studio. And you know what? If gold started falling from the sky, I would definitely be singing in the rain. How about you guys? Now, we are joined tonight by Chelsea Snyder from the Vora Institute and Aria Demezio from cryptocurrencycheck.org. Now, coming up during Crypto Hour a little bit later, we're going to have David Mondras joining us from Trive, which is blockchain, fake news, censorship, something and other, I think. It's the best way to describe it. I mean, it's hard to describe what Trive is. I got to Lord have mercy. I got to see about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes of David Mondras's presentation at the New Hampshire Blockchain Conference that was just, I don't know, a few months ago. And that's where I met him, and we talked about the idea about him coming on the show. And we finally have found a spot where his schedule will allow for him to come on with us and tell us a little bit about, about Trive. But before we get there, this story here, I mean, this is great. It says
the good news about it is that the gold didn't fall on anyone.
Right. Nobody was,
like the bridge did.
Nobody was killed here, unlike the bridge collapse. But it says gold bars worth millions fall from a plane over Russia. More than 3 tons of gold fell from the sky in Russia on Thursday. The hatch of a plane opened as it took off from an airport in Yakutsk.
You guys got it.
Somewhere in eastern Siberia. Oh, man. See, that doesn't make... See, it's eastern Siberia. That means, like... This didn't help any... Well, I don't know. Maybe some farmers in the middle of nowhere found some. It says a
no,
Nimbus...
the picture that I saw was just this great empty stretch of road with nobody nearby, and maybe something that might have been gold laying around.
Yeah, it does not look exactly like gold. There's a lot of very fuzzy pictures, but it said in there that one of the stories that I read said that every gold bar was accounted for and recovered. Another story said that there were some people nearby who were immediately started like searching for gold, and I'm kind of thinking they probably didn't recover every piece of gold.
Right.
But it's just so I mean, it's also just like such a strange story because, I mean, I don't know, it's just not a thing that you think about in day to day, like the transportation of gold and why on earth that would even be happening.
For real, yeah. Like, why is a Nimbus Airlines AN-12 carrying about 9 tons of gold and other precious metals? Like, why
and
are
diamonds.
we flying 9 tons of gold, platinum, and diamonds across Russia at the moment?
In an airplane whose cargo door may be questionable.
Right. Siberian Times reported that the value of the gold, platinum, and diamonds aboard the aircraft totaled $368 million. A total of 172 gold bars weighing 3.4 tons were later recovered from the area, an Interior Ministry official told the TASS news agency. The plane landed at an airfield about 7 miles from where it took off, and an investigation was launched into the incident. No injuries were reported. So, yeah.
You would think they could afford a few dollar lock to put on those cargo doors.
Or just like a way, way better plane or something. But it does say actually that some of the metals were being transported for refinery and purification. So,
well, now,
I guess
I'm definitely glad that this story was brought, because it's led me to see something else here that is, I have to say, particularly, oh, wow. It doesn't look like the door just came open. In this, if you follow the source, the Siberian Times, there's a picture of what looks like the cargo door having been ripped. Yes, the whole underside of this plane is ripped.
But that's not the kind of thing that could be tampered with. So did it crash?
I don't know. 75% of the private company, it says the cargo is reported owned by Chakuta Mining and Geological Company, 75% of which is owned by the Canadian Kinross Gold. Technical engineers at Yatsuk Airport who prepared the plane for takeoff have been detained. The value was 21 billion rubles. I see pictures of the plane.
Yeah, it looks really strange. It doesn't look like a cargo door dislodged. It looks like the whole plane was ripped off of itself.
Well, there's a lot of black in this big circle around where that happened too, almost like maybe there was something that exploded. But you've got huge chunks of the bottom of the plane missing. Like you've got 2 grown adult men standing in one of the holes, and it's bigger, that you could fit another couple guys in that hole if you wanted to. So, this doesn't look like it didn't take off with the door just open.
And the plane company, of course, was quick to say that their plane didn't have issues. So maybe it was tampered with. But that would not be the kind of thing that would obviously be in the story.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking at this and the photographs. It's this huge this door. And you see the chunk where it's ripped off of the airplane, but the caption for the picture says is plane loses cargo of gold, platinum, and diamonds. Well, yeah, I know that, but what is this thing that's missing? Is that the door ripped off? Is that a panel that was blown off? What am I looking at in these photographs? That usually they tell you what's in the photos, but it does. It looks like the bottom of the plane has been ripped open. So,
It does seem to be surrounding the cargo.
Either this is a weird accident and somehow a door got ripped off in takeoff, or, all that black. I'm looking at a picture of the plane, and that area where the airplane kind of makes a check mark going toward the tail, there's tons.
Yeah, it's totally black.
Yeah, there's tons of black. So, explosion maybe?
I feel like an explosion wouldn't have wreckage that looks like this. It's real strange.
Maybe it was weak.
And it probably would have been kind of hard to land a plane after that.
Well, we'll be back here on the Call to Freedom in just a moment, here on the LRN.FM.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.fm.
Which one are we doing next?
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And you know what? It is another beautiful day outside. Like I said, at least a foot of snow on the ground at my house. I've got this little wall like in the front yard that you can see like across. It's the edge of my yard, you know? And like at the top of the wall, that's where my grass starts. So you get to see like when the snow gets cut down, you get to see like a cross section of how tall the snow is in the front yard. And it's more than 11 inches. It's taller than my boots, that's for sure. So we got 2 pretty big snowstorms. Like we shoveled everything out last night, and then we woke up this morning and there was another 6-7 inches of snow on the ground. I would at least at my house. And it all has to be done again tomorrow. So, but we've got people who are You're pretty cold there in Maryland right now too. You guys got hit pretty hard there in Baltimore, didn't you?
We have no snow of any kind, and Baltimore's only an hour from me, so I don't believe they have snow either.
Wow. I thought they got hit in Maryland pretty hard, too. And then,
no,
of
and
course,
it's actually been, not that cold at all.
Ari is probably sweating it out down there in Mississippi.
I have the air conditioner on.
Yeah, Ari's got the air conditioner on. Well, because it's the middle of March in Mississippi, of course she has the air conditioner on.
It's got to be pretty close to 80 out there.
Well, it was air conditioner weather for us in January, because DC has like an early spring and then it goes back to winter. So
now I definitely like to use our opportunity to grace the airwaves to discuss stories to kind of encourage people that have kind of a more peace, pro-peace mindset. To be more educated on the things that are going on out in the world, not just the things that the idiots in suits in our own country are doing, but the idiots in suits and thobes or robes or whatever the local dress is for tyrants in that country are doing all over the globe. And one of the stories, I mean, this is terrifying to me at least. It says Saudi crown prince, that great guy who said women can drive, but then turned Yemen into the largest humanitarian crisis in the world today. Well, he says that Saudi Arabia is going to develop nuclear weapons if its arch rival Iran does so. The kingdom's crown prince said in remarks released on Tuesday, raising the prospect of a nuclear arms race in a region already riven with conflict. Now, Saudi Arabia does not want to acquire any nuclear bomb, but without a doubt, if Iran developed a nuclear bomb, we will follow suit as soon as possible, Prince Mohammed bin Salman told CBS in an interview that will air in full on Sunday.
We won't just sell them one.
Well, of course we would just sell them one.
Well, not above the table.
I know that's my point. We'll acquire one and all. Whatever, man. All you have to do is ask. You're Saudi Arabia. We let you rape our maids without doing anything about it. Giving you a nuclear bomb, no big deal. It'd be the least of the sins we committed in regard to them.
I'm just okay. This is how I know. And again, over and over and over again, I try to show that these governments, particularly Saudi Arabia, they literally live and exercise all of their authority outside of the very religion, Sharia of the religion that they claim to, and I'm just. This is another one of these examples. There's a very famous quote from both from the Prophet and from Abu Bakr, and then again from Umar ibn al-Khattab, and then again from Umar ibn Abdul Aziz about 300 years later. So, I mean, it's a statement that's made over and over and over again, and that it's that war shouldn't be wanton destruction. You shouldn't be killing innocent people who are non-combatants. You shouldn't destroy infrastructure. Like burn down buildings, burn farms. There used to be a thing where the Romans would poison the earth when they would wage war.
Yeah, they would salt the fields, right?
Yes, they would go in and they would salt the fields. Now, Islam forbid that because it made the ground unusable. Even the animals themselves could no longer gain sustenance from the earth in that way.
And honestly, why would you want to conquer land that you then can't use?
For real.
Well, it was about killing, not conquering.
Right.
It was about subjugation of the local population to the greatest degree possible. And there's literally like a whole jurisprudence around warfare in Islam. And burning trees, burning crops, burning property, destroying infrastructure, salting and destroying the earth, all of these things are forbidden, and all of these things are what nuclear warfare are known for doing. So Saudi Arabia, the supposed grand example for what Islam teaches to the world now, says, let's get in a nuclear arms race with Iran because we hate the Shia. Sounds totally legit to me.
Yeah, but at some point it's a lot about posturing and mutually assured destruction and things of that nature.
Again, though, we're back to that when you say mutually assured destruction, again, that brings us back to where is Al-Sheikh, the religious head of the Wahhabi sect, who is also a political and religious leader of Saudi Arabia. Where's he? Like, where is his grand edict condemning this and calling the Saudi? Like, when the Saudi Arabian government said, you know what, we're going to let girls drive, the Al-Sheikh went bananas. This was just unfathomable. Women, it will make women mentally retarded. Was basically the argument.
Wait, really?
Yes, it will make women mentally retarded.
What process exactly?
It will make women rebellious. It will make women lesbian.
Oh my gosh.
Well, this sounds like something we need to do.
Oh my God, there were
Wait, no, is that what we have in America already?
Right. There were all these. One of them was.
I'm not hearing a downside.
It would make women unable to have children. It would make women horny. There were just all these different reasons because you have there's a dozen.
Did any
different,
of them make sense?
No, none of them make any sense, and none of them have any religious backing either. It's like people who drink camel piss giving scientific advice, basically.
Did he even at least say, well, women don't know how to drive?
No.
Didn't even throw that one out.
Nope. Not even that women were terrible drivers. So yeah.
That's wrong too, but
Oh no,
that's
I'm
what
married.
I've heard
I know
before.
that's not wrong. I've been married for a decade. That's an absolutely true statement.
Oh my goodness. You can't say that on the air with two women.
I drove him to New Hampshire.
She did.
Oh.
With my wife, and she'll back me up that when my wife drives, it's scary.
Oh my gosh.
She's not going to say that because she knows she's moving up here.
Yeah, you stay safe.
Anyway, so yeah.
Saudi Arabia, so.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia, so. Doing the same thing they always do, claiming to be this great exemplar of religion and then turning around doing the opposite of what it says to do. Anyway, we've got another story about a war that Saudi Arabia is involved in. What a surprise. Do you want to weigh in? Give us a call, 603-283-6160. We'll be right back here on The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
I won't slave for beggar.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
After logging onto the Xbox One game console at one of his classmates' homes, 12-year-old Michael Cutler admitted to reporters this week that he really does not have the slightest clue about what his friend's name could be.
His name might be Brian. No, wait, Brian's my other friend, the one with the PS4. Yeah, if I'm being totally honest, there's no way I can tell you his name. Not a chance.
Noting that the boy had, quote, an absolutely huge HD TV and a bunch of games his mom won't let him play, Cutler confirmed that he could recall only the faintest details about his friend, including the fact that his mother makes chocolate chip cookies and that he has a dog of some kind.
He's got Killer Instinct, Assassin's Creed, Battlefield 4, and Titanfall? Man, that game's awesome. Anyway, I've just been calling him Flamethrower because that's his gamer tag. Hopefully he doesn't catch on. Hey, can I stick around for a few more hours? I'm so close to beating this.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
I feel like such a grandpa. I do.
Wait, aren't you actually a grandpa?
Yes, I am actually a
there
grandpa.
There you go, then.
I am an old man. A very old man. And yes, I know. We totally just talked right through the intro. No music, no nothing, because
oh my gosh.
We are, man. We're doing this raw dog right now, like just no lube. It's not happening today.
Such professionals.
I'm telling you, man, I'm sick. I came to work sick, so leave me alone.
Oh, no.
I came to work sick. Leave me alone. That's all I've got to say.
So, Syria?
Yeah. Anyway, hey, guys. We're finally going to go to war with Russia. Woohoo! Yeah.
Finally, 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, finally 5 weeks ago. We're going to go to war with Russia. I mean, after...
What about the Iran? I bought tickets to that. Remember?
What's it now?
What thing?
The Cold War was from 1949 to 1991. Okay, so 41 years of the Cold War, and then another 28 years after that. Finally. So what's that, like 60, 70 years of posturing between the U.S. and Russia?
It says 50 in the article.
Okay, well, there you go. After 50 years of, well, no, because there was a clash somewhere in the midst of the Cold War. Some little skirmishes and stuff.
I mean, Korea and Vietnam.
It says, standing on a windswept mound, Brigadier General Jonathan Braga pointed to the spot just a mile away from where Russian mercenaries and fighters loyal to the Syrian government fired at his soldiers. I mean, they're in Syria. How dare Syrians shoot American military personnel who were in Syria. Those artillery rounds could have landed and killed Americans, and that's why we continue to prepare our defenses, said Braga, the director of operations for the U.S.-led anti-ISIS coalition. Only steps away sits a sprawling oil and gas refinery that American forces captured from ISIS last year, and that is just beginning to hum with life again. Braga's forces repelled the surprise assault from pro-Bashar al-Assad fighters and the Russian private military contractors. February 7th, when the clash took place, was the first time in 50 years that Americans and Russians have engaged in direct combat. While there were no U.S. casualties, Braga worries that more clashes may follow. The Americans and their allies are fortifying embankments to prepare for potential future confrontations. U.S. Army officers describe a fierce assault by Russian mercenaries in northeast Syria. A team from NBC News visited the base this week to speak with Braga and other U.S. military personnel on the ground during the attack. The first group of journalists to do so. There are about 2,000 American troops in Syria fighting ISIS. Well, looks more to me like they're fighting the Russians, which has been pushed out of much of the territory once controlled. While they are opposed to Assad's government, the Americans have not been targeting the regime's soldiers and its allies in the civil war, including Russia, Iran, and Lebanon's Hezbollah militia. Braga's men launched punishing airstrikes and artillery fire at the pro-regime fighters. They said that their attack was unprovoked. There was an unprovoked incursion into territory controlled by the U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces, a coalition of Kurds and Syrian rebels.
That would be finger quotes, wink, wink, Democratic.
Yeah, right. Let's see. Between 200 and 300 mercenaries employed by a Russian contracting firm died in the attack. Those figures are close to our estimates, he said. He is the first public. He's the first public acknowledgement by a U.S. official that mercenaries from Russia have took part in the 6-hour confrontation. You know, and it's a good thing to hear about that we're not in war. There's not a war in Syria, just so you know.
That is also, though, a pretty staggering body count when we lost 0 people.
Yeah, that was my thought as well.
But I mean, the Russians maybe just really miscalculated. Like, what on earth, you know? And what prompted them to attack in the first place? Like, was it an accident? Did they not know who was at the base? Like, what's going on there?
I don't know. How about the government that controls the state saw people who were assisting rebels that fight against the state and attacked them?
But if it was planned, like, shouldn't they have had way more intention and, like, I mean, I don't know, shouldn't they have, like, killed at least one of us for our 200 to 300 of them?
I don't know. It's the U.S. military versus mercs and the Syrian army. I mean, you know.
I mean, wouldn't we expect the mercenaries to be better?
There's
maybe not than the military-industrial complex.
There's nothing like putting the Eagles up against the JV team, you know, at your local high school. I mean,
but mercenaries aren't usually JV.
I don't.
Yeah,
know.
I'm thinking of, like, you know, Blackwater or whatever they're called
right
now.
Blackwater versus the full strength versus the United States military.
Okay, yeah, good point. But I mean, you know, you're right. That's not a fair fight because we have the military.
There's a
industrial
reason
complex.
that the U.S. military pays them. You know, they're a subcontractor of the U.S. military. They have, you know, subcontractor abilities. They don't have, you know, like, we will rain fire and hell on you from the sky. Because that's what this says here. It's like they rained fire, death, and hell from the sky for 6 hours on mercenaries and, like, the football team from Little Giants versus the 84 Bears. You know?
It does also say the fact that mercenaries working for a Russian company were involved has risked igniting tensions with Moscow, an outcome that the White House and the Kremlin have sought to avoid. Both have downplayed the involvement of Russian fighters, so it doesn't actually seem to be that it was, sort of initiated from the top. It seems like maybe just, I don't know, if not rogue, at least a small group acting on its own in some capacity.
I mean, that's kind of the definition of mercenaries.
Right, a small group acting on their own, going rogue, that can do whatever they want, and we can be like, we don't know those people.
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good point.
Plausible.
What contracting firm, though, is sending out mercenaries to kill 0 Americans?
Plausible deniability.
Because that's not a good contracting firm.
Let's see here. They want to send a message that they will defend the U.S. forces want to send a message. We're going to defend this ground.
I love your, American voice.
We're going to stand right here. You're not going to take
barren desert.
You're not going to take 1 inch of this Syrian soil from our U.S. military. That doesn't. We are going to stand on top of our land that does not actually belong to us. Because we were invited here by people who don't like the guy. Oh my, I mean, could you imagine? People who, if there was like a mercenary group.
Capable of imagining what it's like in Syria.
No, I'm like, imagine here in the U.S. that there's a mercenary group that just shows up and is given sanctuary by rebels against the there's some patriot sovereign citizen group, out in the middle of the Texas desert, and they give sanctuary to a group of foreign military personnel who are here with weapons specifically for the purpose of using them against the United States military. I mean, just think about that for a second. And then wrap your mind around, well, I wonder why they attacked us. I don't know. And by the way, my that American voice that you like, it's like a cross between Gomer Pyle and the drill instructor from the show Gomer Pyle USMC. It's like a little bit of both mixed together, So instead of being like, Pyle, what's wrong with you, Pyle? It becomes, Pyle, what's wrong with you, Pyle?
Okay. No, thank you for explaining that to me in detail.
Sorry. All right, anyway, we'll be back with Crypto Hour, where we're going to be joined by David Mondras of Tribe. Just a moment. Here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
As it were your own, it's a hand-me-down. The thoughts are broken.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted. If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, March 14th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.60 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,326 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $20, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,695. Antiwar.com reports after months of speculation that such a move was coming had all but died down, President Trump made a surprise move on Tuesday announcing the firing of Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. The announcement was made via Twitter, and Tillerson reportedly found out on Twitter. Trump said of the firing that he and Tillerson had different mindsets. Trump intends to replace him with CIA Director Mike Pompeo, about whom he said, "We have a similar thought process." The move is raising a lot of questions as to why. Indications are that the immediate cause was that Tillerson endorsed the idea that Russia was behind the poisoning of an ex-spy in Britain after the White House had already said they weren't going to accuse Russia for the incident. Tillerson did not just contradict the White House, but reporters said he made several other on-the-record comments about Russia during the flight back to the U.S. from his trip to Africa. Pompeo is seen as much less hostile towards Russia, and this is believed to be the driving force for the sacking. Not that it was a single-issue move, with Representative Nancy Pelosi of California going so far as to claim that Trump effectively fired Tillerson at the behest of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The change sets the stage for a State Department that's a bit more friendly towards Russia, however. But of course, that's not the only change. Pompeo and Tillerson differed on a lot of issues. Pompeo, in particular, is seen as very hawkish on Iran, which is leading the Israeli press to conclude that the Netanyahu government will be happy with the change. Pompeo is also seen as a lot more critical towards North Korea, as Tillerson was long inclined to diplomacy, earning multiple rebukes for it. With Trump heading towards direct talks with North Korea's Kim Jong-un, it's a bit surprising that Pompeo will be taking Tillerson's place, but that underscores how many intertwining issues are involved in this sort of replacement of a top U.S. diplomat. The importance of U.S. diplomatic stance on several issues is very important to overall U.S. military policy, and both Tillerson and Pompeo have their pet issues on which they are hawkish and at other times more inclined towards reasonable dialogue. While there is a tendency among analysts to try to settle on a specific conclusion of what such a big change means ahead of time, the reality is that the full impact of these changes is going to be impossible to predict for quite some time. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports House Democrats on Monday blocked a Republican-sponsored bill that would have allowed terminally ill patients to try experimental drug treatments that haven't been approved by the FDA. The Right to Try Act failed to get the two-thirds of the House vote it needed to move on to the Senate with a vote of 259 to 140. After the vote, Republicans blasted Democrats for preventing the bill from moving forward. The bill had its share of critics outside of the House chambers who said it failed to address the problems of gaining access to experimental treatments because it did not require the drug companies to allow those treatments to be accessed. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports a former aide to New York Governor Andrew Cuomo was found guilty by a Manhattan jury on Tuesday of agreeing to take bribes from executives at two companies seeking to do business with the state government. The verdict against Joseph Percoco is the highest profile federal corruption conviction in New York since the 2015 convictions of two former leading state legislators, which were later overturned. Percoco's lawyers could not immediately be reached for comment. Cuomo, a Democrat, is up for re-election this year, and he has not been charged with any wrongdoing. Percoco was indicted on bribery and conspiracy charges in November 2016. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Good morning. Later this afternoon, I will be engaging in an extramarital affair. Of course, I will wish that I had never made the horrible mistake I'm about to spend several hours making, but sadly, I'm currently too blinded by greed and lust to care about or consider the consequences of my actions. The liaison I will be taking part in shortly with two poor deaf teenage runaways is in direct opposition to the values you elected me to uphold. I also wish to apologize to my wife, Linda, to my two beautiful children, Allison and Christopher. It hurts me more than you will ever know that this scandal will impact your life so terribly. I can only pray that the revelations you will soon hear concerning my fetishes, physical flexibility, and penis will not scar you to the point of dementia. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get to the hotel immediately, so I will not be taking questions. Thank you.
This is the Onion News Network. The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Hold. Hold. Hold!
You better hold on for dear life, because it's time for the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com on the Call to Freedom.
That's right, it's time for the Crypto Hour here on the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio, and I got a question. Are you new to the crypto game? Are you interested in getting in, but you don't want to spend your whole day, reading white papers? You don't want to be, online looking at candle graph. I mean, what is a candle graph anyway? How are you even supposed to read those things? Well, let me introduce you to our wonderful sponsor for the Crypto Hour, Helium.com. Now, Helium.com is a savings accelerator, and it's powered by Uphold.com. The way it works is they've created a bot, and it watches the values between regular old fiats and cryptocurrencies at the same time. That way it can move your money when the timing is just right. You just you charge up your account using your bank card or your own crypto wallet, and then you just set it and forget it. Everything is completely automatic. Helium, it lets your money move you. So go on over to helium.com/CTF. That's HELEUM.com/CTF. And check out the great deal you get for being a Call to Freedom listener. Now, anybody jumping out of windows this week?
No, but I am not happy with what is happening.
Only not jumping out because you can't.
Right. Mine's only a two-story house. It wouldn't do very much anyway, especially not with a foot of snow on the ground outside.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a cushy fall. Don't you wish?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, that actually kind of sounds like fun.
Right. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm in. Sign me up.
Anybody that checks their wallet on a daily basis will know that, crypto's not been doing so well, and there's a few reasons why. My own wallet took quite a dip. First time that it's been this low in months. And The reason is, well, two stories that we're going to be covering today. One of them has to do with, well, it seems there is a concerted effort to push currencies and ICOs and exchanges and wallets out of the internet space. First, Facebook enacting their anti-cryptocurrency censorship and regulations, and now so's Google. The largest search engine on the planet, Google announced formally that it will restrict advertisement of cryptocurrencies and related content, included but not limited to initial coin offerings, cryptocurrency exchanges, wallets, and trading advice, including aggregators and affiliates regarding cryptocurrencies and related content.
Which definitely includes cryptocurrencycheck.org.
And us, too, as well, more than likely.
Yeah.
Google's crypto ad ban has been confirmed. Days ago, anecdotal reports of several companies operating in the initial coin offering industry. Google is taking steps to restrict the visibility of ICO advertising on its platform, end quote. As of March 13th, however, Google, they published their financial services new restricted financial products policy, announcing it will update the financial services policy to restrict the advertisement of cryptocurrencies and related content. The policy will be implemented by June of this year, and by restrict, it appears some of those ads banned might be able to ultimately advertise with Google by getting certified.
See, here's the issue with this. A lot of these things have a tendency to sound fine, and this sounds fine up front, right? Their reasoning is sound because they're like, okay, you're a company that runs on ads. You want to have good ads. If you have a reputation for having bad ads, if you have a reputation for ads that people click on and then lose their money to, that's going to look bad for you. And it's going to cost you a lot of money as a company to then go behind and make sure that all of your ads are good and take out all the bad ads. And so there's all this list of, money that they've spent doing that and the number of ads they've taken down.
They want compliance with government regulators, though.
But exactly, right, is that there's that's like the thing underneath. It's not just like the front end that they like to say is, oh, we care about the consumer. But it's like that's what's behind it. Is that government compliance?
Yeah, it says
in regard to something I said earlier, they actually dropped "Don't be evil" from their code of conduct, so that's no longer there.
Wait, are you serious?
I am serious. Yes.
Do what now?
Do we know when they dropped that?
I do not.
Wait, what?
Google used to have "Don't be evil" as the first item in their code of conduct, and they actually removed it.
Honestly, I'm surprised in this day and era that they didn't leave that one in there and then also add in "Don't be white" as one of the things.
Right. Well, it says here, to advertise through AdWords, advertisers will need to, quote, be licensed by the relevant financial services authority in the country or countries they are targeting, ensure their ads and landing pages comply with all AdWords policies, comply with relevant legal requirements, including those related to complex speculative financial products. Advertisers can request certification with Google starting March 2018 when the application form is published. This policy will apply globally to all accounts that advertise these financial products, end quote.
And that's where you know that it's a thing, is if they just had their own stipulations, if they just wanted you to fill out a form internally and say, hey, we want to make sure you're not selling something bad, that would be one thing. But it's like this compliance with legal, whatever the legality
global
of the area.
Legal,
yeah.
Like if you're...
Yeah, it's like you're making governments mad and they're putting pressure on us, so...
Basically...
Stop this cryptocurrency thing you're trying to do to get out from under their boots.
Right. Basically, if Call to Freedom, say we wanted to advertise on Google, what we would need is we would need to go get permission slips from every country in sub-Saharan Africa that we're in. From every country that we want Google for us to show up in the Google algorithm. So if you search for us in, Hawaii, we wouldn't show up at all, I guess.
Well, or you could probably advertise as not specifically a financial, service or something.
I mean, yeah, but we have a daily crypto hour.
Yeah, right.
So
it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I think our keywords probably include crypto at some point.
Says this giant simultaneously released metric for cleaning up its bad ads problem. The search
They
giant
actually banned a few of my ads for using the word trans at one point, though. So, I mean, they're kind of spotty anyway.
Last year, they zapped more than 3 billion ads, almost twice that of 2016. They blocked 79 million ads in the network for attempting to send people to malware-laden sites, removed 400,000 of these unsafe sites last year, and removed 66 million trick-to-click ads, as well as 48 million ads that were attempting to get users to install unwanted software.
And that's where, like, in true capitalism, right, they're doing this thing for us, and if we want them to do that service for us, then fine, they'll like charge us money. And so you pay to have them sort through the ads for you and make sure that you don't have any bad ads. And otherwise you just have to like be your own intelligent person. God forbid that you would have to look through ads yourself and figure things out. But that's not what they're doing, right? It's not the same.
Well, no. They're not. You don't need to figure things out for yourself.
No, just that's what the government's for.
Or you. Says they're updating policies. They scrub the websites of crap, and that's good. I'm happy with that. But it's the demanding government compliance that is really, it's troubling to me. Let's see here. Google runs ads on their site and content to make money. They $12.6 billion last year. But you have to play by the rules, and that means if you're with Google, playing by the government's rules as well. All right, you got an opinion on this? Give us a call at 603-283-6160. We'll be right back.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour on the Call to Freedom.
تستمتعون إلى The Crypto Hour على برنامج نداء للحرية.
Back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. It is the Crypto Hour, of course. And, we were talking about yesterday, there was a pretty big drop in the Bitcoin prices, all the way down below $8,000. So that's pretty significant, I would say. And the reason for that is, you really have to admit, there seems to be a concentrated effort against cryptocurrencies. All the big players who are connected to the other big players are like, you guys need to take care of this for us. Get rid of the Bitcoins because, it seems, it competes with the U.S. dollar, so it must be terrible. That sort of thing. So Google has said,
definitely doesn't look good.
We want you to comply with the state. And if you comply with the state, well, then we'll allow you to advertise. And if you won't comply with the state, well, you don't get to advertise. So, oh well. Good for you.
So Coinbase, I assume, would be able to advertise, right? Or do they mean that, Bitcoin has to be able to advertise? Or for Coinbase to be able to advertise, Bitcoin itself has to be fully compliant with the state.
Right? How far, how deep do the layers go?
Well, and this could just be the start of whatever they're planning too.
Very true, which is why the markets are reacting the way that they are. People got into this, and I get in arguments with people like these pro Ripple people on these Facebook chat rooms, and they're like, I like Ripple because it can be regulated. And I'm like, man, regulating cryptocurrency, that's not why people got into it. It's, I live in the real world. Well, Bitcoin was created to change the real world, you idiot. Cryptocurrencies were created to change the real world. Not so that we could find a way to create a crypto that would fit in to the crap that we have today. The whole point was to change the system. Not create a cryptocurrency that would comply and fit within the system. We wanted to break the system. That was the whole point. And now
it seems to be doing so. When you look at their panic all over the world and with these steps by Facebook and Google now, and of course hiding behind the same mantra that people in power have always used, that we have to protect the stupid people from themselves.
Yep. Beanie Babies and tulips in Denmark. Anyway, another story I wanted to make sure I covered today because I personally was actually affected by this one. Verge. Now, I talk about privacy coins, security coins. They're my thing, because Bitcoin's not quite as private as most people think that it is, and because, well, I just don't like the government prying around in my damn business because it's, well, none of theirs. So I invest in a lot of these different privacy coins, really kind of as an investor, it's not a get rich quick kind of thing. It's here I'm going to put some of my money into your effort to create this thing because I believe in what you're trying to do. Well, Verge is one of those coins. It's a cryptocurrency that advocates advanced privacy as a choice. Problem is they had their Twitter account hacked on Tuesday, and their developers' private details shared all over the world. Now, the attacker then bragged about the feat to the account's 265,000 followers and then attempted to scam them out of Verge cryptocurrency. By the time the account was restored, the price of Verge had dipped in value, and it remains 5% lower against Bitcoin still today. So, Twitter account hijackings, while relatively uncommon, can happen to even the largest of accounts. They've happened to celebs, and in the crypto space, they've happened to smaller players like EtherDelta and now Verge. When the XVG team regained access to their account some hours after the attack, they instantly blamed AT&T, implying that the network had allowed itself to be socially engineered, and the account ported over via SIM swap. This would be less embarrassing than if it were to emerge, for instance, that the project lead had failed to use two-factor authentication. After the hack had occurred,
the lead of a privacy coin didn't use two-factor authorization.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds like he did, but this is on AT&T. It happens quite a lot, and it's becoming more and more frequent. People call AT&T or Verizon or something like that in an attempt to get your phone number ported over to a new phone, saying that they lost their old one, blah blah blah, pretending to be you.
Yeah.
And they end up getting your text messages, and they can use your two-factor authentication because they're receiving your text messages and you're not.
Oh, gee, it's a good thing I don't have AT&T.
It happens with all carriers.
After
it's more and more common.
The hack had occurred, the compromised Verge account sent out the following message. Privacy coin. Lead developer gets hacked. 1 billion Verge stolen. It's impossible to verify the claim that 1 billion XVG, or about 6% of the total supply, were stolen, though it seems unlikely. For one reason is if the account's new owner was sitting on that much crypto, they'd have had no need to send out their next tweet begging followers to send a little Verge to, quote, receive more back. The attacker seems to have just been having some fun in a community famed for its intolerance of negativity towards Verge. The lead developer, Justin, was the target of the hack, which led to his personal account as well as the official Verge account being compromised. His photo ID being published, the Verge family were quick to suggest that the attacker acted because they felt threatened by the altcoin's ascendancy. They also blamed Twitter for the hack and being in between asserting, perhaps in jest, that Verge was, quote, the real Bitcoin. While Verge's Twitter account hasn't had much luck with security, it's fared better at developing a passionate, single-minded community. Once back in charge of its own account, Verge went on a retweet message of support, including one which referred to, quote, continuous attacks and FUD from those wanting to do harm to the coin. In this case, the only harm seems to be a little bit of loss of face for the lead developer, and perhaps a few Verge to anyone who was dumb enough to send money to the wallet address provided by the hacker. At least one community member shared the offending tweet in a Verge
that was probably
Telegram
quite a lot
group,
of people, though.
Under the impression that the giveaway was real. Somebody thought it was real.
Giveaway?
Somebody thought the giveaway that was on the account that had been hacked was real, and then they shared that in a Telegram group. So some people sent some money. So, not too many people got, but a few did. Anyway, we'll be back here with more on the crypto world in just a moment.
When you're coping with bad news and the news media come calling, and they will, don't clam up. As notorious political figures find out the hard way, the cover-up can be worse than the crime. So get out in front of unfavorable news about your company, your group, or organization, or yourself. The sooner you confront a negative story, the sooner it will be over. Responding as quickly to negative stories as you do to positive ones enhances your credibility. Hiding embarrassing information or lying will do more damage than damage control. Never stonewall. Tell your side of the story, use specifics, and detail what corrective action has already been taken. Respond in kind. If the issue is emotional, don't sound like a cold, unemotional Mr. Spock. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Free Talk Live.
When a deer approaches a marijuana plant in the woods and nibbles off one of the buds, is that sad? Is that deer living a sad state of existence?
I have no idea. I've never heard of an animal eating something that would
Christy,
make them,
that's because you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't know one thing about cannabis. You don't know anything about it.
I understand that you want to partake of that drug.
Oh,
and
I do. Trust me.
Listen, I understand that you should have the right to do that.
Oh, thank you.
Where it's legal. Where it's legal.
Since the beginning of time, human beings and other animals have been altering their state of consciousness. Believe it or not, it's not just a human being thing.
Robins eat elderberries in the fall and get drunk on them.
Yes, so this is a common thing amongst the various different creatures of this earth.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
You are listening to Call to Freedom's Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार के क्रिप्टो आवर को, जिसके प्रस्तुत करता है Helium.com.
Welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And you know what? One of the things that we like to do here is protect our listeners. And that's why we're continuing on with this story about, what happened to a lot of the money in the last few days that may have been in your wallet. Google has now decided that they're going to force people in the cryptocurrency space to comply with federal regulators in their own countries and in the countries they do business in or advertise in. And then we had this, it's called a SIM card hack, where, we're actually going to go into, I actually found a 15-minute tutorial on how to do this, how to clone a SIM card in under 15 minutes.
But it starts by letting you know that it's illegal.
Yes, I love that. Before we go further, I'd like to make one thing clear. SIM card cloning is illegal. This tutorial should be used for educational purposes only. After this, you should be able to clone SIM cards easily, but don't harm others. Yeah, okay. Now, Aria, you said this is a pretty simple, pretty, what's the word I'm looking for here? Common scam.
Yeah, and, it's not even a matter of cloning SIM cards when you socially engineer it through AT&T or Verizon or Sprint or whoever. You just have to know enough information about the person to convince whoever it is that you're speaking to at the phone company that you are that person. Now, that may be their favorite band, their, favorite restaurant or whatever. If you can get that information out of them somehow, but I don't know, a lot of people put that kind of crap on Facebook, then, it's a simple matter to convince someone who has never met you that you're someone else entirely, and to get them to register a new phone's IMEI on that other person's account.
Huh. Well, we've even got AT&T even has 1, 2, 3. Like they have 3 right here about att.com: cybersecurity, social engineering, wireless support, latest of fraud, social engineering scams, phone scams, prepaid card scams. So it's not like these phone companies don't realize this kind of stuff is going on.
Right, they certainly do, but
AT&T here says that it's their biggest threat.
Yeah, but if a person calls them and they know the street you grew up on or whatever information you gave them when they asked you for your favorite questions and answer or whatever, then as far as they know, they're speaking to you. So it's a matter of, it's the same basic security question in regard to any sort of technology. It's invasiveness versus privacy. How much information do we want to have to give AT&T in order to verify that we are who we are? And to prevent this sort of thing from happening? Do we want to spend 30 minutes on the phone with AT&T sending them, email photocopies of our driver's licenses and social security cards just to get them to tell us our account balance?
Right. Well, it says here, if you haven't experienced this type of fraud yet, then count yourself lucky. It's a relatively new form of fraud that allows hackers to gain access to bank accounts, credit card numbers, and other personal data. It's tough to spot and even tougher to undo the resulting damage. It's a growing trend, according to the U.S. Trade Commission. There were 1,038 reported incidents of SIM swap identity theft in January 2013, representing 3.2% of identity theft cases that month. By January of 2016, that number had ballooned to 2,658. Knowing SIM card fraud's basics can help protect you against it. Cell phone SIM card stores user data. They are principally used to authenticate cell phone subscriptions. Without a SIM card, GSM phones aren't able to tap into any mobile networks. Attackers are attempting to gain access to target cell phone communications. So
and even Verizon has started using SIM cards now, so it's no longer just GSM networks. It's CSMA as well. I used to sell mobile phones.
Oh, it says here a high proportion of banking customers now have mobile phone numbers linked to their bank accounts. And so this attack is becoming common in some regions where this attack was not previously so common. Unlike mobile malware, SIM fraud attacks are usually aimed at profitable victims that have been specifically targeted through successful social engineering. So the scheme involves collecting as much information about the victim as possible. Fraudsters will send phishing mail, messages that impersonate legitimate businesses, credit card companies, and health insurance, intended to fool victims into forking over their legal names, date of birth, address, and phone number. Many people.
Most of those things you can just find by looking a person up in like the whatever Yellow Pages or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not all that's required. Ari is right. A lot of this stuff gets stored on Facebook, but you know, I don't know. It says in this thing that like people can't identify phishing emails, and that still is what blows my mind. Like, if you can't identify a phishing email, you shouldn't have an email.
Well, it says first step after getting all this information, well, call the victim's cell phone provider and claim that his or her SIM card has been lost or damaged. Then ask customer service representatives to activate a SIM card or number in their possession. Most cellular service providers won't acquiesce to those requests unless callers can answer security questions. But SIM fraudsters come prepared, using the personal data they've collected from across the web to defeat the carrier's security checks without raising any alarms. Once they've gained unfettered access to the victim's phone number, criminal targets then start hitting the bank accounts. Attackers can read your SMS messages and see who you're chatting with and what about. Many banks will send you a code to log into an account or reset a password to a mobile phone via SMS, which means that an attacker committing SIM fraud can request and receive the code and access to your bank. SIM fraudsters mask money withdrawals using a parallel system. They create a second bank account under the victim's name. When the criminals execute a transfer between the two accounts, it appears to the bank's computer as though the victim is transferring money between two parallel accounts. It's tough to detect SIM card fraud before it happens. Most victims discover they've been compromised when they try to place a call or a text. Once the perpetrators deactivate a SIM, messages and calls simply won't go through. But some banks and carriers have instituted protections that prevent SIM swap fraud before it happens. Multiple organizational and technical ways to combat SIM fraud, introducing alerting and additional checks for SIM reissuing to sharing knowledge of SIM swap activity between banks and phone companies. Banks also considering looking for behavioral changes.
Well, I think the real moral of the story here is that cell phones are not the security answer that many people expected them to be when they set them up as, two-factor authentication to receive message or to use Google Authenticate or whatever. They're too insecure, and you don't have any control over it. It's totally at the mercy of your cell phone company. And they're idiots, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, major providers in the U.S. offer new security features that can help protect against SIM card swapping. We'll get into those new features when we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour on the Call to Freedom, brought to you by Helium.com. Unasikiliza Crypto Hour inayohusu wito wa uhuru, imeletwa kwako na Helium.com.
Live from the Vertcoin studio, this is the Call to Freedom. It's the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium 47 here on LRN.FM. When you kill the faucet, you color 5 to get some free coins. This is the Call to Freedom.
That's right. It's the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And, I've got our, it seems like a Thursday crew put together here. We've got Chelsea Snyder from the Vora Method, also an officer with the Libertarian Party of Maryland. And we have Aria Demezio from cryptocurrencycheck.org. And what we're looking at, this is just, this is pretty funny. We've got how are all these big name companies like AT&T and such, how are they trying to keep you from having this scam happen to you? Well, what they really want you to do is to call Mark in Cincinnati, who is really Patel in Bangladesh, and have them set PIN numbers and turn on features for you. And I don't know about you, but I had an issue with AT&T that it took 3 free months of service and 11 months of fighting with AT&T to finally get it fixed.
That sounds about right.
It took me 4 months to get them to change my phone number, even though I called them once a week for that entire 4 months and gave them my new phone number every time. Because I had a Cricket phone. This was, AT&T internet, but AT&T is AT&T is AT&T. And what's AT&T's, quote, extra security? Well, it's a feature that requires you to provide a passcode for any online or phone interactions with an AT&T customer representative.
Because that's what people freaking want, right? Is more passwords, more passcodes.
Hold on. You have to turn it on by logging into AT&T's web dashboard or the AT&T app. So,
and I'm sure it is the absolute easiest thing to find, right? I'm sure it's not
hard
at all.
Not only that, but I'm sure when you get it, they're like, oh, by the way, there's this security thing that you want to make sure that you don't forget to turn on.
Yeah.
Because, every time I've
knowing full well, no one will do it.
Let's see here. Sprint asks customers to set a PIN and security questions when they establish service. T-Mobile lets subscribers create a care password, which it will require when they contact T-Mobile customer service by phone. You can set one up by visiting a T-Mobile store or by calling Rizwan in Bombay,
who makes $3 a day and doesn't give a crap about your security.
Or Maria in Mexico City. You have to, because there's lots of call centers in Mexico City. I used to work for an AT&T call center in Texas, and our sister call center was in Mexico City. I worked in the English-speaking only room because they had 3 rooms. They had a bilingual room, they had a Spanish room, and they had an English-speaking only room. And the English-speaking only room made the least amount of money because of, white privilege. T-Mobile lets subscribers go. Yeah, anyway, that's the same crap. Verizon allows customers to set an account PIN, which they can do by editing their profile in their online account and calling customer service or visiting a Verizon store.
That's so awesome. If you want to have safe customer service, you just have to call customer service and then give them a PIN that you want to use.
The whole thing that we're describing here is just a feedback loop. You have to go on the internet and create a password so that people can't go on the internet and steal your password.
Right.
Yeah.
None of this makes any sense at all. It's asinine and pointless. And no customer out there is going to want to do it.
So my mom, my brother, and I had Sprint for maybe a decade, and for that pretty much entire decade, we had no idea what the 4-digit PIN was that we had set in the very beginning. And every time we would just call and answer some random security questions and get them wrong like twice, and then, try to figure it out and take guesses. And they'd just third guess, we'd get it right. They'd be like, yeah, that's fine. It's it's really bad.
Yeah. Says here, there are supposedly some easy ways to prevent this kind of fraud. A few common sense rules. Users should avoid revealing too much personal data online and check on what alerts can be set up with their bank or phone company to identify any attempts to access their account.
Okay, in a world that has Facebook, you can totally forget that first thing you said.
For real. Another good practice is using encrypted messaging apps that aren't as prone to snooping as SMS. However you pronounce that name.
Did they give any examples of those?
No. Another suggestion is enabling two-factor authentication, which requires a randomly generated passcode in addition to a username and password on sensitive social media, credit card, and bank accounts.
Oh my God, you gave me a headache. Okay, So the problem here is that people are tricking AT&T into, doing these SIM swaps so that they can pretend to be another person to get around their two-factor authentication.
Yeah, I know.
And so they want you to set up two-factor authentication to prevent other people
from trying to get around it.
Yeah.
Super effective.
Let's see here. Users can best protect themselves
I think
by
we're
using...
starting to zero in on the problem here.
Yeah, right?
Which is that they have absolutely no idea how to prevent
AT&T
it.
has no idea how to fix the problem. That's right. None of these service providers have any idea what to actually do to stop it from happening.
Clue.
I mean, let's just keep creating more and more. Let's create two-factor authentication that you need to use to create two-factor authentication that you need to use to create two-factor authentication that you need to use to actually access your account. And then finally, we might have enough layers of two-factor authentication to make everybody in America just blow their brains out. And then it won't be a problem anymore.
Well, that's how security works, right? You build a bigger wall, somebody else builds a bigger catapult, you build a bigger wall.
Wait. It gets better, Aria. Hold on. Users can best protect themselves by using services that don't use SMS for their codes and use authenticator apps like Google Authenticator or any other number of other apps that provide a similar service.
Well, no, you know why they're saying that? Because that pushes the problem off onto Google. Now it's a matter of somebody getting your Google information, your Google email, and your Google password, and accessing your Google Play account instead of them getting your AT&T information.
And then
so that's just them shoving the problem off onto somebody else.
Also, avoid using SMS as a primary method of communication because the data in an SMS, it's not encrypted and is capable of being snooped on easily.
And they could fix that. They're the mobile carrier.
Users should switch to messaging apps or services like iMessage, WhatsApp, Signal, etc. for any messages that you wish to be private. It never hurts to exercise due diligence. Check with your cell phone company every couple of weeks to make sure if any SIM cards have been issued without your knowledge.
There's no chance that anyone is ever going to call their phone company every couple of weeks. No one likes calling the phone company.
Excuse me,
ever.
can you make sure that you haven't given away my personal information in the last 2 weeks?
By me calling you and doing my two-factor authentication with you.
If you find yourself a victim of a SIM swap scam, then it's not the end of the world. Acting quickly can minimize the amount of damage inflicted by fraudsters. Quote, inform the bank or phone company as soon as you have any suspicions to reduce the impact of the attack.
Which should be so easy because at that point your phone won't be working, so you can't even call your phone company.
There's nothing that we can do about this. We don't know what to do about this. We are pathetic at fixing this. So call us every 2 weeks and make sure we haven't screwed up and given your information to somebody else that shouldn't actually have it. All right. Well, looks like another crypto hour in the books. We'll be back here on the Call to Freedom. If you want to weigh in on any of the stories we've been talking about tonight, give us a call at 603-283-6160. Or how about you call in and win some free coins? We'll be right back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you AMP Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, March 14th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.60 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,326 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $20, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,695. Antiwar.com reports after months of speculation that such a move was coming had all but died down, President Trump made a surprise move on Tuesday announcing the firing of Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. The announcement was made via Twitter, and Tillerson reportedly found out on Twitter. Trump said of the firing that he and Tillerson had different mindsets. Trump intends to replace him with CIA Director Mike Pompeo, about whom he said, "We have a similar thought process." The move is raising a lot of questions as to why. Indications are that the immediate cause was that Tillerson endorsed the idea that Russia was behind the poisoning of an ex-spy in Britain after the White House had already said they weren't going to accuse Russia for the incident. Tillerson did not just contradict the White House, but reporters said he made several other on-the-record comments about Russia during the flight back to the U.S. from his trip to Africa. Pompeo is seen as much less hostile towards Russia, and this is believed to be the driving force for the sacking. Not that it was a single-issue move, with Representative Nancy Pelosi of California going so far as to claim that Trump effectively fired Tillerson at the behest of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The change sets the stage for a State Department that's a bit more friendly towards Russia, however. But of course, that's not the only change. Pompeo and Tillerson differed on a lot of issues. Pompeo, in particular, is seen as very hawkish on Iran, which is leading the Israeli press to conclude that the Netanyahu government will be happy with the change. Pompeo is also seen as a lot more critical towards North Korea, as Tillerson was long inclined to diplomacy, earning multiple rebukes for it. With Trump heading towards direct talks with North Korea's Kim Jong-un, it's a bit surprising that Pompeo will be taking Tillerson's place, but that underscores how many intertwining issues are involved in this sort of replacement of a top U.S. diplomat. The importance of U.S. diplomatic stance on several issues is very important to overall U.S. military policy, and both Tillerson and Pompeo have their pet issues on which they are hawkish and at other times more inclined towards reasonable dialogue. While there is a tendency among analysts to try to settle on a specific conclusion of what such a big change means ahead of time, the reality is that the full impact of these changes is going to be impossible to predict for quite some time. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports House Democrats on Monday blocked a Republican-sponsored bill that would have allowed terminally ill patients to try experimental drug treatments that haven't been approved by the FDA. The Right to Try Act failed to get the two-thirds of the House vote it needed to move on to the Senate with a vote of 259 to 140. After the vote, Republicans blasted Democrats for preventing the bill from moving forward. The bill had its share of critics outside of the House chambers who said it failed to address the problems of gaining access to experimental treatments because it did not require the drug companies to to allow those treatments to be accessed. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports a former aide to New York Governor Andrew Cuomo was found guilty by a Manhattan jury on Tuesday of agreeing to take bribes from executives at two companies seeking to do business with the state government. The verdict against Joseph Percoco is the highest profile federal corruption conviction in New York since the 2015 convictions of two former leading state legislators, which were later overturned. Percoco's lawyers could not immediately be reached for comment. Cuomo, a Democrat, is up for re-election this year, and he has not been charged with any wrongdoing. Percoco was indicted on bribery and conspiracy charges in November 2016. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Several weeks after the car accident that resulted in the death of his longtime friend Matthew Abrams, local man Keith Bisbee told Onion reporters today that he isn't sure how much longer he should continue using the photo of his deceased friend as his profile picture on Facebook.
People can't really expect me to keep this up forever, right?
Bisbee told reporters he felt like he had done more than his part to preserve the young man's memory. Bisbee added, however, that he had no idea when to go about changing his profile picture.
I'm pretty sure nobody would judge me if I went ahead and changed the photo right now. Matt wouldn't expect me to still have a picture of him up. I mean, I wouldn't expect that of him. You know, I should just do it. Maybe I can go online later tonight when nobody's on. But his girlfriend gets home late from work. I don't really want to seem disrespectful. Maybe I could do it tomorrow morning, or...
At this time, Bisbee has reluctantly changed his profile picture to an image of a gay rights equal sign and is, quote, just waiting to see what happens next.
This is the Onion News Network.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे।
Off the rails, you know, it's time to raise ourselves. It's freedom like you never knew. Back.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. The final hour of this live broadcast here from the VertCoin studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And let me tell you, now, once in a while we do these updates, you know, like we tell you about a story and then sometimes we come back a few weeks later, you know, like the Ahed Tamimi story, which is continuing, that saga is continuing to play out. Or, you know, like our drama remixes sometimes. This is another update, but this one actually, it kind of, well, it combines with another story. Turns out that, well, you remember we talked before about there being this a GoFundMe page because the city of Baltimore needed to pay for heat. They needed to pay for heat because, you know, their government doesn't have, for some reason, the ability to pay for the heat for students. You know, we got plenty of money to build jails and youth detention centers, you know, but not money.
That's right. At the time we discussed their new $30 million youth detention centers or whatever it was.
Yeah. Plenty of money to spend to lock kids up. No money to spend to make sure that they want to be in school so that they can have a future to start with.
But we do have some money to spend.
Oh, we do. And, you know, I think it's funny because it's the teachers' unions who push these things. And, of course, it's the left that is in the pocket of the teachers' unions. Baltimore can't afford to pay to heat their schools. But according to the Maryland Community Now, well, They will pay $100,000 to bus students to a gun control rally. Mayor Catherine Pugh is receiving criticism over her decision to dedicate as much as $100,000 of taxpayer money to provide 60 buses, free T-shirts, and boxed lunches for around 3,000 students looking to attend a gun control rally in Washington, D.C. Earlier this week, Baltimore students walked out of classes and marched to City Hall demanding new gun control laws. While the mayor's office did not receive advanced warning that the students would be marching, she greeted them at the steps with a megaphone. America needs to hear the voices of the young people of Baltimore. Pugh told the students before announcing the city's plans to fund the trip to the, quote, March for Our Lives rally on the 24th of this month. Pugh's finding herself in hot water, however, because many of Baltimore's schools are themselves without hot water. The heating system in Baltimore's public schools are so outdated that students, faculty, and staffs are forced to bundle up indoors earlier this year during an exceptional cold front. In January, a third of Baltimore's public schools had either broken or underperforming heating systems that made the school's indoor temperatures unbearably cold. Schools actually had to close because the temperatures inside reached unsafe levels. At the time, the mayor's office explained that the school's heating systems were beyond fixing because the city simply doesn't have the money to make repairs and upgrades. Initial estimates from the American Civil Liberties Union, it's never good when HVAC systems in schools get the attention of the ACLU, estimated that it would cost at least $2.8 billion to modernize the heating and air conditioning in Baltimore City's public schools.
Yeah, and I'm almost positive that you could build a bunch of new schools for that same amount of money.
Literally brand new.
Yeah, that don't have broken heating systems in the first place. $2.8 billion to fix it. One of my clients is an HVAC company. There is nothing that they could do that would cost $2.8 billion.
Well, let's see here. How much does it cost to build a school in not Philadelphia, Baltimore, right? Are there any new schools in Baltimore? Or are they all these old, dilapidated...
I'm not going to know the answer to that question because I avoid Baltimore like the plague.
Right.
Well, I mean, if Mississippi can manage to heat and air condition its schools, you would think that Maryland would be able to.
Yeah, and Maryland is relatively temperate, really. It's not so bad. It's got this weird, like, it's not super north, so it's not so cold. It's not super south, so it's not so hot. It should not be that hard.
Well, it says here that...
do they have homeless people living in them? Why is it going to be so expensive?
Well, it says here the state of Maryland spends $300 million a year helping local governments build and renovate schools. So it's a local issue, first of all. So that means raising local taxes and those kinds of things.
But the tax base there is not so healthy.
Exactly. And there's part of your problem right there. You're not getting a new... What are you poor brown people? New school? What? No. We don't even care if you go to... We only... Oh, wow. A $1 billion building campaign to renovate everything but the furniture. It's school calls, floor-to-ceiling windows, open-air classrooms, gleaming hallways, and green spaces. A part of a promise to provide students with a 21st century education.
Oh, barf. Oh, my goodness. Stop.
Yes.
You know, honestly, I mean, we could talk forever about building costs, but I am firmly of the opinion that when the government sits down and says, hey, we want to find somebody to build us anything at all, anything.
Somebody's cousin's getting a phone call.
No, mostly people call their cousins and see which one of them can offer the most expensive version of the thing, and then they pick that one. That's what they do.
Did you see the Stossel video that he did about the bathroom that was built in some city and that cost just an obscene amount of money?
It was like, what, $2 million?
One that was like a 50th of the cost and was 50 times nicer?
Yes. Like, how much can brick possibly cost, guys? Really? Come on.
It wasn't even brick. It was aluminum. It was the cheapest, most government-looking thing you have ever seen.
Yeah. Big old piece of crap. But it cost millions of dollars. It says here Mayor Pugh's decision to spend $100,000 on political activism is leaving many parents shaking their heads and wondering, where was this discretionary spending when the students were left in Arctic temperatures inside their classrooms? The crowdfunding effort to get space heaters raised about $84,000. So not even as much money as they're going to spend on this bus ride, free lunches, and free T-shirts. Because, you can't go to a political event with a political agenda without it printed on your shirt so that we can keep everybody in, under control.
But are they wearing vagina hats?
I don't know.
That's the question.
No, they'll have to wear, they can't wear gun hats. I guess that would be against the rules. But those extra T-shirts are super important because they're going to need them when they go back to school and they need extra layers for their Arctic temperature classrooms. So she is trying to help. Don't worry. She's giving you extra layers.
Do the buses have have heating? Because, the school buses when I went to school, they did.
Well, it says
no, they're going to pick only the broken ones and take them to D.C.
She was forced to explain her decision. Pugh told reporters Wednesday that her office would try to solicit as many private donations as possible to finance the trip.
That should actually be pretty easy.
Instead of soliciting private donations to, provide heat for students that were in classes. Though the trip was already promised, she left the door open to taxpayer money being used. We'll cross that bridge if we need to, she said.
The most politician statement ever.
For real, yo.
Wow.
We'll get into the rest of this story. There's been new hires. They've hired a marketing team. They've hired like a PR firm. All this kind of stuff, all this money to throw around, but no money for some reason in order to keep kids warm in classes. Come on. Your tax dollars at work, folks. Your tax dollars at work.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Now, you know what? It's so hard these days being able to communicate with each other in a secure fashion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just the story we were covering just a little while ago was about how, you know, somebody had been hacked just because of the use of a cell phone. And, you know, securing your internet communications against the government, that's even more impossible. Governments can see everything you do online, and they can block services to stop you from communicating altogether. Enter CryptVisor, the unstoppable instant communication platform. CryptVisor is powered by the blockchain and fully decentralized. There are no central servers for governments to block or to shut down. And CryptVisor neither asks nor stores your personal information. So even if governments did ask them for it, well, they simply don't have it. Find out how you can get CryptVisor for free and about their premium options like CVPay, the CVPay crypto wallet, and other advanced security features. So check out CryptVisor at cryptvisor.network. That's CryptVisor.network. So we've been talking about this story here. It's awful interesting to me. Basically, the city of Baltimore, which is a big old lefty city with their lefty sheriffs and lefty mayor, well, they don't have money for your kids when they go to school and to keep them warm, you know. Because, well, we've got to save that money for if there's a political event that will make our Democrat masters happy, that we spend taxpayer money in order to send them down there. Now, we're not going to go out and solicit private donations to raise $100,000 to put space heaters in classrooms so that your kids don't have to miss school or be distracted by the fact that the classroom is cold as it is outside. No, we're not going to raise...
Remember, the excuse for that was that they had no mechanism in place to determine how those heaters would be accepted or distributed in the classrooms. But they don't have that problem when it comes to busing people, you know, across state lines.
Well, yeah, I mean,
How are they deciding who gets to go to the rally?
the bureaucracy is an unmaintainable, unworkable behemoth to anybody in office. Well, until they no longer need it to be. And then suddenly it's totally streamlined. You know, like they can't figure out how to raise $100,000 to put space heaters in Baltimore public schools because the temperature in the public school is 40 degrees. But they can figure out how to raise $100,000 to put these kids on a bus and bus them to Washington, D.C. to protest in favor of gun control.
Well, just to be clear, when you say raise, what you mean is steal, but
Same
yeah, sure.
administration. Well, no, because she's saying, well, we'll try to take that money from private sources.
Right.
We'll
But we're
go
willing
out
to
and
steal it.
raise that money from private sources. But if I can't get enough private donors to give it to me, don't worry. The Baltimore taxpayer pays plenty high income taxes to the city that I can just stick my hand right into that little slush fund there and pay for it. Now, we don't have money. Again, we don't have the money to keep the temperature in the classroom above 40 while your kids are there. But we can stick them on an air-conditioned, heated, bus. And it's not going to be a school bus. They're not taking these kids to Washington, D.C. on a school bus. This is going to be like one of those chartered buses with, TVs and your own personal heating and cooling. It'll be better than anything they've had in the schools there in 15 years.
I mean,
maybe we should just have the classrooms on the charter buses. There we go. Just do class on the charter bus on the way to the protest and on the way back, and then the students will probably learn more than they've learned all year.
Do you know how to spell believe everything the government says?
Right. Believe. Well, I got a better. This is even a better story as far as these gun control rallies and stuff like that. You've got Mr. Progressive himself, Mr. I'm so anti-war that I voted no on 1 out of 3 wars, but voted yes on every bill to pay for the bullets that were being fired. He decided to go to a big anti-gun rally today, too. And guess what? He was flanked on all sides by what? Men with water pistols? No, of course not. It was heavily armed men, each with pistols and multiple pepper sprays and more than one clip. Oh, no. But guns are bad.
Not even the fake guns that Baltimore cops like to plant on people. These ones were real.
Oh, me without the ba-dum-ching loaded up. Oh, you got to kill. Oh, the fake. Oh, yes. Oh,
that's it.
I had totally forgotten about the fake guns that they were planting on kids in Baltimore.
Oh, yeah.
That just adds a whole new, level of to this story.
They don't care. I mean, they don't want gun control. I mean, they just want to make sure that only the state has guns.
Yeah. That way there's plenty of them around to plan on black kids after they shoot them in the back for, playing hopscotch too loud. Says
but they only pretend to care about them.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders joined students in D.C. marching on the U.S. Capitol today, and so did his legion of armed guards. In multiple locations, students hit the streets and parking lots in their respective school districts to walk out in solidarity with the Parkland students who are calling for more gun control after their school was attacked by a deranged gunman. Sanders began a live stream of the event of his speech on his Facebook page. It featured him wading through crowds of cheering students and shaking hands, and as Sanders traveled through the gun control crowd, at least 3 heavily armed Capitol Police officers could be seen protecting him and clearing the way as he walked through students. Multiple times in the live feed, the police can be heard asking the students to step back and move away from the senator. In his megaphoned speech to the crowd, Sanders called for the, quote, courage to take on the NRA and push for, quote, common sense gun legislation. Wow, he sounds like Bill. He sounds like Bill Weld.
No, he does. Oh man.
All right. Well, when we get back, we do have a caller on the line that we're going to bring on to have a discussion about guns. But we'll be back here in just a little while, so stick around. Give us a call if you want to get involved at 6160. We'll be right back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
In a statement this week, famed actor and television icon Dick Van Dyke confessed to being the Zodiac Killer, responsible for terrorizing Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. The 85-year-old actor, known for his television and film appearances in classics such as Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Mary Poppins, and The Dick Van Dyke Show, said he committed the Zodiac murders but also killed over 37 additional people. Van Dyke said, quote, "It was unbelievably easy for me to go kill someone, come back to Burbank, and get on set. It was actually part of the fun to see if I could book a flight and make it back in time." Van Dyke's confession is corroborated by several eyewitnesses describing the Zodiac Killer as, quote, "a gangly, loose-limbed man with a toothy grin and a spring in his step." In other news, the open dialogue two Americans are having about race is pretty hilarious. A husband is experimenting with an open marriage, and a f***ing loser is at a movie all by himself. This episode of The Onion Week in Review was paid for, funded, and entirely created by The Onion, and in no way benefited from cheap, thankless viewers like you. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom. Live on LRN.fm. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. We're joined live via remote by, well, it seems like the new Thursday crew is what it's beginning to look like. We've got Miss Chelsea Snyder from the Vora Method and Aria Demezio from CryptocurrencyCheck.org. And we've been talking about the gun control fight this last hour and how Baltimore's school system, well, they don't have money enough to pay for heaters for their kids to have a decent educational experience. But, well, they do have over $100,000 in order to bus kids to a political event that no doubt is being propped up by the same party that the mayor who is suggesting this comes from as well. Now, we do have a caller on the line. We've got Rob in Vermont. What's up, Rob? What do you think, and why do you think it?
Well, good afternoon, Will. Hi, Ira. I'm sorry, Chelsea, hello. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You as well?
I was hoping I was going to be able to talk with Tom, because I know Tom's an attorney. I just wanted to get a feeling of what his feelings were about the Second Amendment rights. But that's not why. Well, I mean, that's one of the things I wanted to ask, but I know it's not there. But I wanted to ask, these gun laws, that they put into effect, like the 34 and 68 stuff, and right up to the present. Do you think that those laws are racist at all?
Yes, absolutely. The original gun laws were put into place in order to make things like Rosewood. And for those of you who don't know, Rosewood was a small town in Florida it was an independent city of black folks in Central Florida. Had their own economy, their own markets. It was basically a small, closed community. And a neighboring a woman in a neighboring white community, she cheated on her husband, and the man who she cheated on her husband with roughed her up a little bit. And rather than tell the truth to her husband, she claimed that a black man from the next town over, had raped her. And so they went and, they murdered and burned the entire town to the ground. Why? Well, because in the state of Florida, black people weren't allowed to own guns. And that was just like drug laws, the original gun laws were put into place in order to prevent African Americans from being able to defend themselves from the attacks of the Ku Klux Klan. They were advocated for by the very same party that advocates them now, the Democrats. So, I mean, I find it, if you don't want black people to be able to fight back against the Ku Klux Klan, I say that's motivated by racism.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying. All right. Well, if that's the case, like you say it is, and I believe you, why didn't the case that was won, the Heller versus D.C. case, why didn't it turn over any of those laws then?
Simple. A lot of them are state-based laws. They're not federal laws. And these are states in the South. The good old boy system reigns supreme. I personally, being someone who grew up in the South and who lived in an area that was still particularly racist, I'm surprised integration happened without another civil war. I really am, because I have family members that lived through it. There were bombing. I mean, a lot of people don't realize, they're literally where I lived at. A high school was bombed. They bombed a school in order to prevent integration. It was a huge, huge issue.
Well, I asked you that, Will, because I know that you are from, down the South, and it's interesting to get a different, a different perspective on that compared to what I was taught.
I used to live I used to live in a town in East Tennessee called Ironsburg, Tennessee. It was 6 miles from the Tennessee-Carolina state border, and people of color would not come there when the sun was shining, let alone at dark. It was that bad. I stayed in a foster home there. I didn't live there by choice. My family didn't live there. I was put in a foster home there, and they couldn't put non-whites or non-Native Americans in the foster homes that were in that area for the same reason. The kids would be physically assaulted the first day of class, like jumped and attacked, physically brutalized the very first day. So yeah, and these areas.
See, Mississippi isn't anything like that, and I would assume it's because we have such a higher percentage of our black population. We had the highest in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, if you tried some crap like that in Mississippi,
you'd be dead.
it would be the white people who got beat down.
Oh yeah. Here, like I remember, we were selling dogs. We were selling hunting dogs, and a lady called, and I was describing the dogs to her, and she asked me. She said, "Well, where exactly are you?" And I said, we're on Highway 68 at the 6 mile marker before you cross the state line. And she says, "You mean all the way past Tellico Plains?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "You crazy if you think I'm bringing my black self up there." And then just hung the phone up. That was the end of the conversation. There was no more, "I want the dog," no more nothing. She just hung up. I've lived in areas like that. I've seen that kind of prejudice. And you know what? Just to know that the original gun laws were actually motivated by that is not surprising at all. Not even a little bit. Like, I watched rednecks on the roofs of their houses shoot at a state road worker, and the police never show up to do anything about it.
Wow.
Because he was a black guy that was holding the stop and slow sign, and they didn't actually hit him. They were just shooting the street around him. Literally, like, this is serious. The 1996, this happened in Tellico Plains, Tennessee. It wasn't in the news. It wasn't in a paper because it was just rural mountain town. Nobody cared. So I've been in contact with that kind of prejudice. I've seen it myself. I got beat up by about 4 of them for singing Gin and Juice to myself as I walked down the hallway one day. I've dealt with that kind of prejudice myself personally. And to know that it motivated our first gun laws is like, well, of course it did. Of course those people wanted to be able to do the kind of stuff that they do and not have to worry about repercussions. And now you've got that community, because Malcolm X was not a proponent of gun control. Martin Luther King was a pacifist, but he still wasn't an advocate of gun control. They understood marginalized communities sometimes need the protection of each other and themselves when no one else will protect them. I mean, this is textbook stuff, folks.
Jeez.
And now you see kids from the inner city of Baltimore going out and protesting to have their ability to defend themselves from the very racist police forces that they're constantly complaining about.
And you honestly wonder what their parents are thinking.
Well, their parents are totally for it.
Their parents are afraid to own a gun themselves.
But why?
But I mean, when it's framed that way, it's one of the most bizarre things to ever hear. Because we do have a problem with police shooting unarmed black men.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, just unarmed people, period.
In general, yeah.
Yeah. And the same people who are taking issue with that are trying to take the guns away. I mean, literally, the very same people.
The people being shot don't want the ability to defend themselves because their favorite political party told them so. Anything else to add, Rob?
No.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for calling in, and thanks for listening. We appreciate all of our callers and all of our listeners. If you want to get involved, give us a call, 603-283-6160, or you're also welcome to join us through the Discord and at LRN.FM on Skype. We'll be right back here with, it turns out, that crazy lunatic who shot up the church a few years ago? Well, his sister took weapons to one of these gun marches. We'll find out what happened when we get back.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Lil Drums. Every bit as fun as a full-size Nestle drumstick cone and definitely cuter. Visit us at drumstick.com. Vacations are all about family time, but you don't have to leave home to have fun. Take 1 weekend a month and devote it to family activities. Pull out the board games and puzzles, serve up some treats, or have a picnic. Even without leaving home, you'll feel like you've really had some time away. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
This is novelist Tom Robbins. When my mother was diagnosed with glaucoma, her conservative Virginia physician told her there was only one treatment that might ease her pain and save her eyesight. That treatment was medical marijuana, which he could not prescribe. I offered to get her some and teach her how to use it effectively, but my father objected because marijuana was against the law. So my mother, who loved to read and walk in nature, was condemned to grow cruelly, unnecessarily blind. Tragedies like this happen all the time, but they don't have to keep happening. To learn more about medical marijuana, call the Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or visit them on the web at mpp.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.fm.
Oh, no, wrong one.
Here we go.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. So we're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And, it is just another beautiful day outside. Are you new to the crypto industry? Are you looking to get invested, but you don't want to spend all day looking at candle graph. I mean, you don't even know what a candle graph is. Well, let me introduce you to Helium.com. It's a savings accelerator. What they've done is they've created a bot, and it watches the values between regular fiats and cryptocurrencies, and it moves your money when the timing is just right. So, excuse me. You just load it up with your bank account or with your crypto wallet, and then you set it and forget it. It's like the crock pot of cryptocurrency. Sorry, I've sore throat. So go over and sign up at helium.com/CTF. That's HELEUM.com/CTF, and get your great deal for, being a Call to Freedom listener. Now, we've been talking about these protests that happened, and something else happened. First, Maryland doesn't have money to keep the heat on at their schools, but they do have $100,000 to make sure their kids get to this political event. And then, Bernie Sanders showed up to tell everybody, guns are bad, guns are bad, guns are bad. Well, except for the ones that are on the hips of these heavily armed men that are guarding me as I walk through the crowd. But then, you know what? There are dangerous people out there as well. It turns out one of them decided she wanted to go too. Dylan Roof, who, if you recall, is a lunatic racist who shot up a Carolina church and killed, I want to say 7 people. I'm literally pulling the numbers out of my head at the moment, so I could be wrong. I'm sure the actual number is somewhere in this article that we're about to get into about how his sister, she was arrested because she brought weapons to the school walkout. 9, not 7, 9 people killed. In South Carolina in 2015, she was arrested Wednesday for bringing a knife, pepper spray, and marijuana to her high school. Morgan Roof, 18 years old, was arrested on drug and weapons charges at her high school, AC Flora, in Columbia, South Carolina, and then taken to a detention center. Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott said in a statement. Sheriff Lott said that a school resource officer was informed by an administrator that Miss Roof had the weapons and drugs. Roof had also made a social media post on Snapchat, which caused alarm to the student body. Sheriff Lott said no students were harmed. Miss Roof's Snapchat post criticized students who planned to walk out of class to protest gun violence. I hope it's a trap. Y'all get shot. It said, we know it's fixing to be nothing but black people walking out anyway. Well,
no offense, of course.
Yeah, no offense.
But it says no offense, of course. But
yeah. I love that. That's better. Let me read the whole quick. So you're walking out for the allowed time of 17 minutes. They are letting you do this. Nothing is going to change. And what do you think it's going to do? I hope it's a trap and y'all get shot. We know it's fixing to be nothing but black people walking out anyway. No offense, of course. That's great. I love how she ends it with that. No offense, of course. No offense. No offense intended. Yeah, it's like, with all due respect.
No, the knife was meant to cause the offense.
Yeah. With all due respect, you are a giant pile of human refuse. Mrs.
But
Ruth,
she's not wrong, right? I mean, she's not wrong. The fact that these schools are specifically allowing it just speaks so many volumes to the apps. I mean, oh gosh, it's so like 1984. I mean,
well, you gotta look
right on that one aspect of it.
What party is
right on that one
historically affiliated and buddies with the teachers' unions?
Well,
what party says teachers should not keep their job based on performance, but based on how long they've been there?
Or based on just don't ever fire them, but also don't pay them very well.
I mean, it's not Democrats that are running for school superintendents that get the job and then end up being like forced out of office because they're firing teachers that suck. Those aren't Democrats that are doing that.
No, of course not.
And if
would they be allowed to have a march out of the school or a protest or whatever it is they're calling it that actually doesn't affect anything? She's also right about that. Would they be allowed to have one in support of the Second Amendment?
Oh, well, see, actually, I heard there was a student that did that. They walked out as well. One student.
And were suspended?
She was arrested, I think.
Yeah, of course she was. Of course.
I think she was arrested.
Wow.
Or at least suspended.
Okay, where's that story? Let's do a solidarity story for her.
For real. I saw that. And, but, oh, here it is. Hilliard student suspending over walkout refusal. Berks County students. Where is it? There was one. The kid had his own. There were approved messages.
Yeah, I'm looking at a student participating in National Walkout Day Wednesday holding a sign in support of gun rights was escorted off school property and threatened to be put in a police car.
Yeah.
The student at New Prague High School in Minnesota was peacefully protesting with a sign that said, "Guns don't kill people, people kill people," when he was escorted off of school property by the principal, according to a Wednesday post on Facebook by user Kenny McDonald. So I don't know the trustworthiness of it, but this violates the First Amendment and makes me sick that they can do whatever they want. That's what McDonald said.
Well, see, there you go. So it isn't about student expression like we're all being told. It's about students expressing the proper opinion, the one that, the party that is the majority party of the teachers' unions. That message, what they want, their agenda, that is what we're letting you walk out. If you're not going to say that we should take away guns, you need to go back to class.
Back to prison, you mean?
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I was saying the other day is like, you know what? Basically what's going to happen is tens of thousands of students across the country are taking advantage of an opportunity to skip class. Because, I remember when I was in middle school and in high school, from 6th grade to 12th grade, we had at least one student from my graduating class die every single year, either from a car accident. One was from cancer. We had 3 that drowned. We lived like in an area with like 9 lakes and 3 rivers. We had 3
and bad swimmers.
Yeah, with 3 that one of them jumped into the water at the dam and was immediately sucked under, and there was nothing that could be done for him, Anyway, but there was all these kids. So the
education system failed as well.
All these kids that died during the course of the year, and what would happen is those of us who knew the student, some of us would take the day off. But then, like the 6th grade class, half the kids didn't show up for, like when my friend Travis died. I had to go to school. My mom would not let me take school off, even though like me and this kid had been best friends since 2nd grade, went to each other's birthday parties. We were really close. I go to school. The 2 grades above me, half the kids aren't there. None of them knew this kid, but it was an excused absence for the funeral. So the 8th grade class, 2 grades above us, half those kids didn't show up. And that's exactly what happened with these walkouts. These kids don't care. I mean, we've got reports of literal violence being like groups of the kids breaking off from the walkout and vandalizing stores. This is not about kids standing up and free expression and all this other crap that we're being told it is. There's a political agenda at work here. Without a doubt.
Very deep-seated one that has $100,000 to spend on buses from Baltimore to D.C.
Amen to that, man. I mean, these are the same people. Like, these teachers will tell you, these children cannot make adult decisions when it comes to contracts, banking, sex, or crime. But now here, we need to give them the ability to vote.
Well, they're
listen to every
old
word
enough
they
and
have to say.
mature enough to have sex changes.
No, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, none else.
Well, we'll be back tomorrow with our final show of this week here on the Call to Freedom. But don't go anywhere, guys. Free Talk Live is coming up next.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, March 14th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.60 per ounce. Gold is valued